All right. Hi there, you guys. My name is Allison Dillard. I am a math professor and author and a mom of 3 kids. And I apologize to start off laughing. We started talking like a second ago because I thought that we were live already, but we are live right now. I'm super excited to introduce today's guest, you guys. I reached out to Honoree Quarter because there's so much stress and anxiety going on right now over the upcoming school year, especially for teachers and especially for parents. And oh my God, especially for parents who are teachers. So honestly, all I've been able to think about recently is the fact that you guys need to talk to Honoree Quarter and hear from her, because honestly, the things that she teaches have been a game changer for me. And I really hope that it can have the same sort of positive, inspiring, impactful change for you that it's had for me. So, hey, Jennifer. Jennifer's joining us live. It's awesome to see you there.
Jennifer.
So let's see, a quick introduction of Honoree is she's the author of 53 books. You are like my hero as a writer. She's the author of The Miracle Morning for Teachers, which is the book that I'm super excited to share with you guys today. She's the co-creator of the Miracle Morning book series, and she helps people to write and publish and monetize their books. So welcome, Honoree. I'm so excited to have you here today.
I'm so delighted to be with you. Thank you for having me, and happy Monday and good morning and all the things.
Thank you. So let's just jump straight in. Tell me about the Miracle Morning and the Miracle Morning for Teachers.
So The Miracle Morning is a book that was written by Hal Elrod, who is my co-creator in the Miracle Morning series, or I'm his co-creator in the Miracle Morning book series. The Miracle Morning saved his life. Yeah, there it is. And the main components of the Miracle Morning are the Life S.A.V.E.R.S. The S.A.V.E.R.S stand for silence or meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So scribing would be journaling. And the Life S.A.V.E.R.S are what the most successful people in the world use to be successful. When you integrate these success strategies into your life, you are exponentially more likely to be successful, to lower your stress, to lower your anxiety, and to be able to stay in relation to this situation, stay calm and centered and collected and poised no matter what's going on, which is very helpful.
Yes. So basically, this is like a tool that I want to give you to help deal with the stress and the anxiety of everything that's going on right now. I feel like this is something that you can try it out as part of your morning routine and find which parts of it work for you that just sort of like help pick you up and like start the day off in an awesome, positive way. Anyway, so yes. So it's something to try out for the mornings with all of the stress that's going on. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. No, that's all good. That's all very true. That's all very true. And so The Miracle Morning for Teachers was a book. I'm actually the co-author of that book. Usually I'm the cat herder. I'm usually the person who does the production piece of the book. This time I wrote the book and did the production piece of the book. We wrote this book. This was really a heart project that Hal was wanting to do for a long time, because we believe that empowering teachers is the gateway to the next generation. And when the teachers are having their lives saved, right, when they are feeling calm and centered and connected and collected, then they can then impact their students in a powerful way. And when we did the diagram, right, it's like if the teacher's in a good place, if the teacher's in a good mood, then the students are in a good mood. And when the students are in a good mood, then their siblings are in a good mood, and their other students are in a good mood, and their parents are in a good mood. And so it just is this ripple effect. Yes, this domino effect. And that was the reason that we wrote The Miracle Morning for Teachers and published it, interestingly, in December of 2019. And I had no idea how absolutely perfect that timing could be, because teachers need to have release valves that are healthy. They need to have a way to shore themselves up for whatever is coming next. And we just don't know. We don't know if our kids are going back to school. My daughter is starting college and she doesn't know. She said, well, the school called and I'm doing some online and some at home. And thankfully she's 20. I can't imagine if this had happened when she was 3, 7, 10, 12, and I would be trying to work and school her, help school her.
Yeah.
I don't think that dog would have hunted very well. I think
And I think
something would have happened.
It's one of the really stressful things that teachers are finding themselves in now, because so many teachers are parents and so many teachers have kids who are little.
Yes.
And I tried doing that in the spring, right? I was teaching online and I had all three of the kids home. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, right?
Yep.
Elementary school, trying to learn online. My husband was also online at the same time. And it was so exhausting and it was so draining. And
chaotic,
stressful,
overwhelming,
and all of the things, you know. And so that was, in all honesty, like I came back to the Miracle Morning at that point, and I really made it a priority, you know. And it's weird, I think, to think of, you know, waking up a little bit earlier in the day when you have such a stressful day, but taking a little bit of time at the beginning of the day, just honestly, it helps you to get through a day that otherwise just seems impossible, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so for anyone who's thinking, I'm already doing everything I can possibly do, it seems counterintuitive, like what you were talking about, to say, well, I'm going to do 6 more things. How about no? The way, how about hard pass on that? However, it's not waking up earlier, it's waking up better. It's giving yourself the mask first before you put the mask on someone else. It's taking care of yourself. And you and I, we've discussed self-care and how important self-care is, especially when you are trying to give to other people and give to other people in a stressful time, under duress, in interesting circumstances. It makes complete sense to say, I, as the mom, as the dad, am going to take care of myself so that I can take care of my children, so that I can take care of my students. It makes sense to do that, and yet it's, how do you do that? So if you want, I can just break down the S.A.V.E.R.S in a logical way. So again, silence is meditation. Meditation is one of those wonderful tools that seems, again, counterintuitive. I'm going to take 20 minutes, or I'm going to take 5 minutes, or I'm going to take 1 minute away from something else when I could be unloading the dishwasher or preparing a lesson plan or making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, right? But actually, meditation, if you do any reading on it, has been shown to give you more time. Or as I think Buddha said, you don't have time to meditate for 20 minutes, great, then meditate for an hour. It really does give you more time later, which seems counterintuitive. Just like the exercise portion seems counterintuitive. I'm too tired to exercise, and yet exercise gives you energy. It helps you to generate energy.
Yes.
The beautiful thing about the miracle,
if I can just chime in, as somebody who thought that meditation was like the silliest thing ever in the world, like, I don't know, all I could ever picture was like hippies up on a mountaintop or something, you know. I was just like, I don't know who that is for, but it can't be a real thing. It is actually something that, like, you know, I got the Headspace app, and there's like a free trial of it, and I just sort of did the basic meditations. Just, I think I started for, honestly, I think for a while I just did like 3 minutes because I couldn't even do it for 10 minutes. But it is, it's weird to describe what a huge difference that just made. It is so calming. It helps you to just focus. And I think we're so busy, go, 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 that it actually is extremely powerful to just take 10 minutes to meditate. So if you've never done it before, don't like ignore it and chalk it up to something crazy, because I do feel like I did that for like decades. I never gave it a second thought. But it's definitely something that is worth experimenting with if you've never tried it before.
Yes. Absolutely. And it will actually give you more of what it is that you need. Fuel, fire, energy, centeredness, the ability to control whatever bubbles up for you when things get frustrating. Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it hostility? Is it overwhelm? Is it fear? Whatever those emotions that we might label as negative, when those start to pop up, meditation actually helps you to counterbalance those. And for those that are old enough, they're going to recognize weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, right? Like, you're just going to kind of go with the flow. You know, your branches are limber because your roots go all the way to the center of the earth. You're just very calm and centered, and it's like nothing gets you because you're centered. Meditation is one of the ways that you can accomplish that.
Yes.
I actually love to combine affirmations and visualization together. And Then the exercise portion is whatever you make it. It's taking your dog for a walk, or it's doing P90X, right? Somewhere in between, doing a little bit of yoga, those sorts of things. And then journaling. Journaling just takes a minute, and you could do something like the 5-minute journal, or you could have journal time. The thing I love about the Miracle Morning for Teachers is it doesn't just talk about how the teachers can integrate the lifesavers into their lives, but it also talks about how you can squeeze it in and how you can have a 6-minute practice with your students, with your kids at home and with your students. And imagine, if you will, we did an experiment with teachers in order to write the book. I was like, well, let's just try it and see if it works. Let's find teachers that are already doing the Miracle Morning themselves, and let's do an experiment to see if doing the Miracle Morning in the classroom would be helpful. So then there was the pushback, the initial questions of, well, how am I going to do an hour with my kids every day? Well, you actually don't. You do it the 6-minute version. So instead of 60 minutes of the lifesavers, you do 1 minute per lifesaver. So it's 1 minute of silence, 1 minute of out loud affirmations, 1 minute of visualization, and the kids get to write their visualization and then they can read it to themselves or whatever. And then 1 minute of exercise. So get up, jump around, dance, turn on a song for a minute, and then sit down and read for a minute, and then journal for a minute. And it's amazing what those 6 minutes did for the teachers who did the experiment, and the teachers that were contributors to the book writing about their experience with their kids. They found that their kids were more calm. They wanted to do more meditation. They wanted to do more reading. They wanted to do more journaling. They wanted to do more jumping jacks, and they were kinder to each other. Now, what was interesting was the reports of the kids in the classrooms that were kinder to each other. They were, not only were they affirmative of themselves, they were saying, I am smart, I am capable, right? I am able. But then they would say, Allison, you are smart, you've got this, you're capable. And it was so interesting to hear, again, that ripple effect. The teacher was getting their 6 minutes, guiding their 6 minutes. And then the kids were saying, we really like this. Can we do this? At first, even the high school students, there was one teacher who's actually a good friend of mine, and she would say, oh my gosh, they are rolling their eyes and they're like, this is ridiculous. And then after a few days, they recognized that what they were doing was working for them. And when you find something that works, especially when it's countering stress, especially when it's countering uncertainty and fear, which is where I think a lot of people are living right now. And that is not a good place to live for so many reasons.
Right. So yes, no, I love what you were saying. Like there's really two sides to it, right? One, as a teacher, especially the teacher parents, right? It's a really helpful tool for stress. And then the second part of that too is that if you're trying it and you're experimenting with it, you can also bring it to your class and help all of your students also. And so of course the first step then, if you haven't been practicing the Miracle Morning, is to try it. And I like to think of it really just as an experiment, right? If
Right.
you're just really stressed out and overwhelmed, then obviously, like if that's what you're doing, you need to change what you're doing so that you're not as stressed out and overwhelmed, right? And so the great thing about the Miracle Morning is there's so many different tools in it. And so you just try all of them, and God, there's 6. One of them is going to be really, really helpful, if not all 6, and then the same thing goes for the students too, right? You give them this experiment, which is like 6 different tools, that can help them.
Yes, imagine.
Exactly. And they're just keeping an eye out for like, what's the one that's going to really make a huge difference for them, and they'll all find one. And I think if you're a teacher, so I did this actually in one of my math classes. So if you think there's like a class where you would never do something like this, you would assume that it's math, right?
I do math.
But so for my experiment for the Miracle Morning for Teachers book, I brought actually the Miracle Morning to my pre-algebra class, right? Which is it's the lowest level of math that a student can place into at a community college. And so it's the students with like the most test anxiety, the most stuff going on in their personal lives, the most stress and overwhelm and all of that sort of stuff. And we tried this, and it was really funny the first day, because like there were a few of them where like their eyes almost popped out of their head, because they're like, really? I know my teachers, those asked us to do a lot of weird things, but like really we're going to meditate at the beginning of math class. But the way that I framed it was like, this is an experiment, right? Like, so many of these students had failed math previously. I was like, so we got to change this up, right? We've got to give you some tools to deal with your math anxiety. And when they thought of it as that experiment, we're experimenting with the Miracle Morning, with the Life Savers, then they just started looking for, well, what's the thing that's going to work for me? And they were okay with the stuff that didn't work for them because they knew it was going to work for somebody else. And that was helpful just to try it. So it is
That's
really
brilliant.
a good thing to try.
That's brilliant. Framing it as an experiment and having them look for the 1 or maybe 2 or 3. When Hal was looking for the lifesavers, he didn't know they were the lifesavers at the time. He was just having a rough time. He was having what he calls one of his rock bottoms, where he hit rock bottom in life. And he was like, dear Google, right? Like, what do successful people do to be successful? And he found these 6 things, and Hal being Hal, right, was like, well, I'll just do all of them, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
Like, why not? And of course, because they worked, one of them worked, all of them on top of each other helped the other ones. And now they're like my children. I can't pick which one. I'm like, well, meditation works really great, but then affirmations change beliefs and behavior, and visualization is an accelerator, and exercise is where I get my happy on, right? Where you get happy in the same pants you got mad in, right? So I can get on the treadmill and be in a bad mood or in a not so great mood. And about 20 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I don't like the first 20 minutes, but I like the 21st minute on. Of course, I love to read because I love to learn. And so you just have to find what you love to read. And then journaling is capturing it all. And so which one of those would I give up? I'm not going to give up any one of them. But that's not to say that the students won't just pick one and love that one and understand. I love what you said. It's like, well, the other ones we're going to tolerate. Really, they're not my favorite, but they're going to help somebody else. And that's a win-win, right? It's a give first kind of mentality, which is also very helpful for students to develop in a classroom, is thinking of others.
Yes, definitely.
All that's so important.
And I mean, if I could just share really quick, I guess my experience with the Miracle Morning. So it's interesting you said that, Hal created these when he had hit rock bottom. And that was actually when I found the Miracle Morning. I was at a place where I'd sort of hit rock bottom. It was a year I had taken off of teaching because I had some health issues. I was about 9 months post surgery and chemotherapy. And I was I'd spent like a year battling with insurance, over the surgery and whatnot. And I was I don't know, I think I'd always been a very positive and optimistic and energetic person, but I'd somehow just lost all of it, and I woke up one day and, not one day, it had been building over time, but really I had a day where I was just I don't even want to get out of bed. I've got this wonderful family and these wonderful kids and, but I was just so drained and exhausted from the previous year, and I had mentioned to a friend, I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't even want to get out of bed right now. And she's like, oh, well, you need to read the Miracle Morning. And, you can get the first, I think 2 chapters. I don't know if you still can, but you can get the first 2 chapters for free online. Yep. And so I went and I literally read those while I was waiting for Amazon to deliver the book. And I think I'd read the whole book, plus I think the Miracle Morning for Parents and the Miracle Morning for Writers, all within a week,
That's awesome.
And I think
that's amazing.
The Miracle Morning for 6 months straight. And honestly, within a month, I was writing my first math book, Crush Math Now, and everything just turned around so fast. And it was just the power of just realizing that there was something you could do to pull yourself out of this. And then just having all of these different things to just try. And just by making that my focus every morning, honestly, it made a world of a difference for me. So
you said something that's so important. And my feng shui teacher, Dana Claudette, talks about being cause instead of effect. And I think that what the Miracle Morning does, or what it did for you, was it allowed you to realize you could be cause over your life. Yes. Not just at the effect of life that was coming at you. You are not at the effect of whether your kids go back to school or not. You get to decide how you're going to meet that circumstance, how you're going to meet those circumstances, and how you're going to handle those circumstances. And the lifesavers are the tools that are going to help you to be the ant that moves the plant, that kind of takes the stiff breeze and is like, okay, I'm just going to bend. I'm going to kind of go with it. It's not ideal. It's not what you had in mind, or as some people have said, hey, 2020, this is not what's on my vision board, right?
Not at all. Nobody put
not what I had in mind. This is not what I had in mind, right? So, However, you can either let it destroy you, or you can let it help you to figure out what's next. What's the opportunity? You're either looking at the dark side, or you're looking at the light side. And I choose to just look at it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do what? For me, it's an opportunity to write more, to read more, to spend more time with my family. There's a lot of togetherness, right? But in another universe, we're all too busy to spend a lot of time with each other. We're too busy to read or to learn a language or to spend time with our kids or be that involved in their education, which might not be ideal. It's not what we had in mind. And yet it's the opportunity that's presented itself, and you get to decide how you're going to deal with it. And the lifesavers can help you to handle everything that's coming at you, maybe in a better way than what you've handled it before, right? It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just effective or ineffective. And is how you're handling it effective? Do you feel like you're like, it's not ideal, but I'm okay?
Yes, yes. And one of the things that I keep thinking too, which for parents and teachers might be helpful in all of this, is sort of what you were saying about just the things that you impact and things that you cannot control, right? And the things that you have an impact over. And we cannot control the situation that we're in with school going into the fall school year, right? We have no control over whether or not the school is going to let us have the kids back at school or not. But every time that we're facing a challenge, we're teaching our children how to face a challenge, right? And we're teaching the students how to face a challenge, and correct. I think that, sort of maybe reframing it as this opportunity to teach the kids and the students in our lives can be really helpful. And I think that the Life S.A.V.E.R.S is a really helpful tool to sort of empower, your students with to get through this,
Yes.
So.
Yes. And they are modeling you how you handle things, and what you say when you talk to yourself is what your kids say when they talk to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so if you want to raise a child who at some point in their future adulthood, right, is able to handle these crazy challenges, like what if they're faced with something like this when they're an adult with their kids and their jobs and the economy and all of the stuff that we're being faced with right now, you want them to be the kind of person who can just tackle that head on, say, I can't control this, I can control this, I'm going to focus on what I can control. And so by you figuring out how to do that right now, right, because your kids, they do what you do, right? Not what you say. But and so by you figuring that out,
I know.
Right now,
isn't that a bummer?
teaching them that, I know.
Darn it!
I know. Yes. Yeah. So if you've been doing the miracle morning, it's a good thing to lean into more. So now, right? If you've been doing it on and off, and it's a great thing to experiment with. I think if you haven't tried it before. Definitely.
Right. And there are no rules with the miracle morning. It's not, it's not a 5 a.m. wake up time unless that's what you want. It's not doing exercise in the morning unless that's what you want. It's figuring out when during the day you can fit in those 6 minutes or those 60 total minutes or those 3 hours. Honestly, on Sunday mornings, my miracle morning is like the whole morning. I don't have any bookend. I'm not bookending my time. I'm spending extra time reading and extra time exercising, and just extra time exercising while listening to a book. But I'm a nerd, so that might not appeal to other people. It's just figuring out which ones work for you, and then making sure that you do them consistently, because the more you do, and the more you do, the better life gets, because you're able to handle all the things that are going on around you just a little bit better. And who doesn't need a little bit better right now?
We totally do. Yes. So I'm wondering, of all of the different savers, which one's your favorite?
I can't pick a favorite. I can't pick a favorite child.
The whole, you like put all of them together.
The lifesavers are one child, and I love them all. Yeah, I don't like to pick, because I now understand intimately, because I've done so many of these books and I've done them for so long. This year, next month, actually August, will be the 7th year that I've been working with Hal. So I was doing all of the lifesavers before I knew that they were called the lifesavers. I had all of these practices, not as consistently, but I had recognized the value of each of them. And so I've been doing them for a decade, longer than a decade. And none of them, I would not give up any one of them, because I know intimately the value of each one. some meditation. Once I got meditation, I can legitimately feel the pressure as I'm meditating just go down. It's like it powers, like the tension goes away. I can feel that. When I'm saying my affirmations, I'm using my affirmation app, right? As I'm saying those affirmations, like they really, what you say when you talk to yourself really does make a difference, right? And the picture I have of what I want my life to look like and who's in it and what we're doing, future, that's awesome, right? I'm still picturing Paris this year. I know it's not happening this year, but I'm still in my vision, right? I wouldn't not do the exercise because I know that I feel better. The older I get, the younger I feel because I'm taking better care of myself from an exercise perspective. I read at least 6 books at a time. It's stupid, right? I'm reading a fiction book and 2 nonfiction books, physical books, and then I've got 3 audiobooks I'm listening to. It's just silly. And then journaling, I have the 5-year journal, which is every month you do a review of your month. But then I have my bullet journal, which kind of keeps me from having the wheels come off the bus, from forgetting things that are important. So none of those, I couldn't look at any of those and go, well, that wouldn't just, right. Like I could not organize my spice drawer because that doesn't seem to matter. So it's not organized, but I wouldn't give up one of the lifesavers. Does that make sense? I know so well the long-term exponential growth, right? It's just like compound interest. It's like the compound benefit to my life from doing each one of those. I wouldn't give them up.
Absolutely. No, I love that as an answer, right? It's the power of all of them together, right? That really is the most impactful.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah. And I know that I say, because I think I talk to people a lot about, the Miracle Morning or the Savers as sort of like an experiment to try out, and I think that that's a really good way to get, especially if you're talking to students about, to get them started with it. Right. But
just
of course,
like going to Costco. It's like going to Costco and trying a new food, right? It's just a sample. Just try it. Just have fun.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. It is totally the whole thing that is the most powerful, and I haven't done it consistently, since I started it back in that random February when I found it, but it is for sure the thing that I go back to every time that life gets stressful. I do it consistently, so I've been back at the Miracle Morning consistently since March 13th. Is that the day that we all got quarantined?
Yes, yes. March 11th was my day. Yes.
That's what got me through.
You're thriving. You're thriving instead of just surviving, right? We can all just kind of go, all right, I can get out of bed. I can poke my head out. Oh, it's still terrible out there, and kind of turtle back in the shell. Or you can go, well, I'm going to choose to thrive, and you can choose that. And I'm not making anyone wrong for saying this is too much, it's overwhelming, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just offering an option, a tool that could possibly make a huge difference, and it's not going to hurt you to try it, and it's all basically free. The book isn't free, but all of the tools, like meditation is free, saying affirmations is free, what you visualize is free. Jumping jacks are free. They're awful, but they work. Right. Reading, the public library has things, right? Journaling, you got a notebook somewhere in your house. Every single thing is something you can do without taxing your budget, and yet it can make such a huge difference in your life. So
absolutely. Yes. Well, thank gosh, we're out of time already, but thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Thank you so much.
And I really just, for those of you watching, I just really wanted to bring you somebody who, hopefully can inspire you to thrive during this time, and give you a tool, an awesome tool or tools, all right, to try out, all right, to try out if you're struggling during this time, right? If what you're doing isn't working right now, then mix it up and try something new. And this is a really, really good option for that, I think. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Honoree.
Thank you.
All right. I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, hang on. Am I done yet? I'm not actually done yet. Oh, before we go, where can people find out more about you? I totally forgot that last question. I know. Right before I clicked the end of the live video.
Yes.
Where can people find out more about you and find the Miracle Morning?
So more about me at honoreecorder.com, and they can find the Miracle Morning and the Miracle Morning for Teachers, and all the books in the Miracle Morning series all are exclusively on Amazon. So just click in the Miracle Morning, and we have lots of different books for different professionals, entrepreneurs, parents and family, college students, teachers, writers, real estate agents, salespeople, right? We've kind of gone the gamut. So there's a book for almost everybody, for sure.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, Honoree. All right. Bye for real this time.